Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into Stewart Stadium on the campus of Hofstra University. It is the Varsity Media 2019 Nassau County High School Playoff Preview Show as you take a look at Stewart Stadium from a bird's eye vantage point. Ben Turchin alongside Gavin Shaw, alongside Dylan Butler, the cast of characters that you are familiar with from Varsity Media's live streams. And it's a pleasure for us to be here. And we'll be breaking down all of the games, predictions, highlights, interviews, the whole 9 yards. So stick with us for the next hour or so before we kick off things at 4 o'clock with Freeport and Massapequa. First, let us give you the schedule of the entire semifinals here at Hofstra. Massapequa Freeport kicks us off today at 4 o'clock, followed by Oceanside and Farmingdale at 7:30. Tonight, it's all about Conference 1. Tomorrow night, it's Conference 3. Wantagh Southside at 4, North Shore Plain Edge at 7:30. And then on Saturday, it's a quadruple header beginning at 10 o'clock. Mepham Garden City, Valley Stream Central takes on MacArthur at 1:30. And then in Conference 4, it's Locust Valley and Seaford, finished up with Clark and Cold Spring Harbor. What a slate of games, all here at Hofstra. Of course, if you're planning on coming to Hofstra, Nassau County and Section 8 urges you to get your tickets in advance. It's getting cold out there. You don't want to wait on those lines. So head to www.gofan.co. And no, that's not a mistake. There is no com with that. It's www.gofan.co. You could purchase all your tickets in advance, any game, for the semifinals and the finals at that website. And finally, if you can't make it to the game for any reason, you got folks, friends and family not on the island, out of state, and you want to watch it live, we got good news for you here at Varsity Media. You can do that. All the games stream live at varsitymedialive.com. Again, that's www.varsitymedialive.com. Head to that website. Maybe you're watching right now. Head over there, and you could watch any game. Either game tonight, tomorrow, Saturday, all games, one game. I think you get the point. You get to watch them all on varsitymedialive.com. All right, let me bring in our cast of characters. Gavin Shaw, Dylan Butler. It's been a great season, Gavin. We've been as far west as Floral Park, as far east and north as Cold Spring Harbor when we saw Seaford. Just recap the season that was in Nassau County.
Yeah, Ben, I'm starting to learn Long Island. It's been amazing. But I'm really excited just looking forward to these playoffs and some of the rematches. You know, a lot of the underdogs in these games, they made changes at quarterback. They made formation changes. They made position-specific changes. I want to see how those manifest themselves against some of the powerhouses that we're looking at in these games, Ben.
Yeah, and Dylan, talking about powerhouses, we're going to be familiar with some big names in Nassau County, like a Hugh Kelleher at MacArthur, a Ford Carty at Garden City. You know, who are some of the guys that stick out for you in this semifinals matchup?
Well, those were two of them. Kevin Wilson, of course, as well. And there's so many quality individuals. You could probably name 12 different Freeport guys, the top team in New York State. So I think there's no place to be that's better than right here at Hofstra. 12 games over the course of 6 days, over 2 weeks. Eventually we'll crown 4 different county champions. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. So let's get it going. We're going to show you highlights from all the quarterfinal actions from last weekend. We're going to start with Massapequa and Freeport, their road to get here in the semifinals. First, we started at Massapequa against Uniondale. You don't think they were pumped up last week? How about Sam Coda-Paris right up the middle for the sack on Uniondale? But Uniondale would score first. Give them credit. They go up 8-0 on this Tyleek Walker 35-yard touchdown run. Again, they take an 8-0 lead. But here comes Coda-Paris on a 1-yard run. Massapequa gets close 8-7. Then in the second quarter, Terrence Gallivan, he scores on a 5-yard run. And Massapequa would go up by a touchdown. But Uniondale with some trickeration. There's the pitch down the sideline. They had things working. And then here's Jamali Simpson on the RPO. I'm going to keep this one myself off the left side. No answer. 46 yards later, Uniondale to the house. And they get that game in 15-14. Pequa's still ahead. And they would cruise with Terrence Gallivan, 200 yards rushing on the day. Massapequa would win this one 43-36. Here we go. Freeport Baldwin on Saturday. It was supposed to be Friday. It was Saturday. There's Coach Sellen. He'll play football any day of the week. He doesn't care. He's playing tonight on Thursday. As long as the Red Devils are playing football, that's all they care. Mackay Jinks up the middle, 27 yards in the first quarter. Good for the touchdown. Freeport goes up 7-0. Then Terrence Edmond, you know we're going to show a highlight of his or two. 24 yards up the middle before he's tackled at the 50-yard line. This is all in the first quarter. Jinks again, right side, before he's brought down inside the 20. And then Javion Allen, he cleans it up, folks, for Freeport off the right side. 14-yard scamper. It's 14-0 Freeport in the second quarter. Edmond would add one before the half to make it 20-0. Freeport would go on to win this one 41-0 is the final there. So again, Freeport, Massapequa, their road. Dylan, talk to us about the other semifinal matchup.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a great one. We saw it in week 2, but first, we start things out at Oceanside. Cold night, Friday night, doesn't matter. Third-seeded Sailors hosting the sixth-seeded Vikings. Port's Jalen Griffin high steps it into Oceanside territory before he is forced out of bounds. And the Vikings looking to try to run the ball up the middle. Not happening. They're stuffed. The ball is loose. There is Andres Duran recovering the fumble. One of the better two-way players as well. He's a running back. He's a linebacker. Here we see his running back skills. Duran with the burst forward. This is a 15-yard gain, which gets down to the Port 10-yard line. That's late in the first quarter. That sets this one up here. Tommy Flavin, 14 carries, 110 yards, 3-yard touchdown run out of the Wildcat. Sailors lead at 6-0. Charlie McKee, we'll talk a lot about him. He's forced out of the pocket, slings one downfield. That's one, though, of his 2 interceptions. So maybe Port has a little bit of momentum. Yeah, think again. Here comes Danny Mullen with one of 2 Oceanside sacks on the night. A lot of different playmakers. Here's another one. Flavin. 20-yard touchdown run extends the Sailors' lead. They win this one 12-0. Let's head out now to Don Schneider Stadium. One of the best locations, certainly in all of Nassau County. There you see it, the home of the Dalers. Neil Levantini, number 44, and his boys excited to take on the 7th-seeded Plainview Old Bethpage. Kevin Wilson, a baller, takes the handoff, scores one of his 3 touchdowns on the night. Christian Lembo, this guy's usually a tight end. Look at him get the burst. Nice pickup on the grounds for Lembo. And now Nick Lundeen goes vertical. Nice faked handoff to Wilson. He finds Jordan Schmeichel for a big completion to set up this 3-yard touchdown run by Lembo. Dalers cruising this one 41-7. And this, I think it's a Daler. I'm not sure. Is that a Tiger? Whatever it is, that mascot's excited. Another big win out in Farmingdale.
We caught up with Robbie Mineta after the game for some of his thoughts. Let's hear what Robbie Mineta had to say.
They scored 62 points on us. We need to come back, and we beat them early in the season, but they're definitely a much better team now. But we just got to keep preparing like we did last time we played them, and we should be fine.
All right, so there you see, there's the breakdown. We're in for a treat here in Conference 1. And look, there are so many players that we can talk about in Conference 1, guys, that people should be on the lookout for when they come here or they watch live tonight. But, Gavin, start us off. Who's the guy you're keeping an eye on here in Conference 1?
It's Terrence Edmond on Freeport, an all-state performer a year ago. He's just gotten better and better and better, averaging over 10 yards per carry, 659 yards on the ground, 9 touchdowns, and it just looks so easy for him. You see the way he separates in the open field, a different gear. It feels like everyone on this Freeport team just has boosters in their shoes. But the big thing for me, Freeport really hasn't played a close game all season. The one time they did have competition, it was against Farmingdale, 14-6. And then Terrence Edmond took over. He led a touchdown drive down the field, finished with an 11-yard run, then forced a punt, 61-yard return, and he essentially ended that game before it could become a game. That's what Freeport is going to need to eventually win a Long Island championship.
Of course, they are an undefeated team, a 1 seed. They're playing tonight at 4 o'clock. Dylan, we talked about it. There's studs everywhere in Conference 1. That's what it is, folks. Studs everywhere. Yeah. Who's your stud in the semifinals?
There's so many to choose from, but I'm going to go back to Farmingdale. We just showed their highlights, and I'm going to show you a little bit of Kevin Wilson. Oceanside coach Rob Blount says Kevin Wilson's a running back in the wrong era. The 6'2", 205-pound senior is a power I back in a spread world. He brings that great combination of power and speed. He's shifty. He's elusive. He's rushed for 800 yards and 20 touchdowns on the season. They don't throw the ball a lot at Farmingdale, but he does have a couple of touchdown receptions as well. An absolute menace as well at linebacker, and here's how he changes games. This was week 2 at Oceanside, a game that we had, the Varsity Media Game of the Week. Changed the complexion of that game in the second half to lead the Dalers to a big comeback win.
Look, I can go anywhere. I'm gonna go to Oceanside. They had a great year all year. Robbie Blount, he gets it done. He's an offensive genius. So let's go with a wide receiver. Why not? He's got to throw the ball, Charlie McKee, somewhere. And why not to the senior, Nick Pladia? 62 receptions this year, 928 yards, and 13 touchdowns. May we see 1 or 2 touchdowns tonight? I think we will. He's a guy that can run any route tree. That is what Coach Blunt has said. He could run outside, he could run inside from the wide receiver position. So I think we're going to see a lot of Nick Pladia today. All right, that in mind, it's time for the predictions. It's time to break it down. Semifinals, Conference 1. Gavin, let's start with Massapequa and Freeport. Talk to us about this game today at 4 o'clock.
Freeport hasn't played a close game all year. They've won every single matchup by at least 4 touchdowns, averaging 42 points per game. That includes a 42-13 win over Massapequa earlier this season. Look, John Giller, he's not extraordinarily mistake-prone. Only 1 interception thrown this year, in addition to 14 touchdowns. That'll keep Massapequa in this game early, but Freeport hasn't allowed a point in the last 2 games. I think that defense takes over. Terrence Edmond on the other end gets a big run, and that game is done by the third quarter.
So you like Freeport?
Yeah.
All right, he's going Freeport. Dylan, talk to us. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think Massapequa, these 2 teams played in week 2, which is an interesting dynamic, right? Where both Conference 1 semifinals were week 2 rematches. In that game, Terrence Gallivan was out, injured. He suffered an ankle and an injury. Then he suffered a knee injury. He didn't play in that game. They were down a couple of big players. They're back now for the Chiefs. Gallivan's been awesome since he's returned. 8 touchdowns already in only like 2 or 3 games. It's not going to be easy, though, for Massapequa. I think Freeport, we mentioned all those ballers on both sides. Their line, I think, doesn't get maybe enough credit. Their line is ridiculous, so athletic. I think Freeport wins this one. Maybe not by the third quarter, but I think the Red Devils go on to the championship.
And I would have to agree. Look, this is the number 1 team, at least in public schools in New York State. That is Freeport, 9-0. Long Island champions. They're defending. I don't see really how anybody's going to get past them. So put me down for the Freeport Red Devils, a clean sweep here. I don't know if it's going to be like that for the second game here, but let's talk about Oceanside Farmingdale. I think we're all really excited for this one. It's a rematch game. We had it earlier in the season, the Varsity Media Game of the Week. Back in Oceanside, it was a touchdown game. It was an interception at the end of the game by Robbie Mineta to get that done for Farmingdale. Gavin, I think people are expecting close, but let's remind everybody, last year in the semifinals, Oceanside went nuts. Charlie McKee went nuts. 8 touchdowns, over 500 yards passing. He broke out as a freshman. Which Oceanside team do we see today? Do we see that team from last year, or do we see the team that got intercepted in the end zone this year?
I think we see the latter version, and that's because Farmingdale figured something out in that second half. Rob Mineta was anticipating that deep pass at the end of the game. They dominated on the ground. Dominic Ciaccio over 200 yards in that second half. It seemed like they figured out how to play against this Oceanside team. I think that carries over into this game. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a close one again, Ben, but I think Farmingdale takes it.
Dylan, Charlie McKee, we talked about him. He didn't get it done against Farmingdale, but the last game of the regular season, he did get it done against Massapequa, and he's been playing lights out of the quarterback. Is he the difference today, or do you think Farmingdale's offensive players turn it around for the win 2 in a row?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's certainly the focal point defensively for Farmingdale, right? You've got to make things uncomfortable for McKee, right? He gets that ball out so quick, like 3.5 seconds from the snap. So you've got to get him out of his comfort zone. You've got to force pressure on him. You've got to blitz. You've got to get him out and running. I think Farmingdale finds a way to do that because these games, it's almost cliche to say it, I think these games are won on the line, and I do love Farmingdale's line. They're back again. They're healthy, finally, for the first time since probably that Week 2 game against Oceanside. I think there's a lot of physicality on both sides of the line for Farmingdale. The Dalers find a way to win it here tonight in Hofstra.
All right, so Dylan is taking Farmingdale. That leaves it up to me. Is it a clean sweep, or is it 2-1?
High drama.
It's going 2-1, folks. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why I'm taking Oceanside. Andres Duran. This is a kid that was at Lawrence a season ago, and Robbie Blount said, hey, you're moving into the Oceanside School District? Yeah, I think we'll take you on our team. He's a big, physical, bruising running back along with Flavin. It's a 1-2 combination, and even though I already told you about Nick Pladia with the wide receiver combination and Charlie McKee, I think, look, it's a little windy. We're in the 40s. It's the late game tonight. Are they going to run the football? I think you're going to see a little bit of Durand, and that might be the difference. That's why I'm going to take Oceanside. And just, I don't want to be like you guys. I want to be a little different.
Yeah, you're unique.
He is definitely different, guys.
All right, we're just getting started here on the Varsity Media Nassau County High School Playoff Preview Show. Try to say that 3 times fast.
Yeah.
We're going to take a timeout, and when we come back, some special guests in Conference 2 will join us. Don't go anywhere. We're back right after this on the Varsity Media Sports Network. And welcome back to Hofstra Stewart Stadium behind us, but we've got different people here now. It's the Valley Stream Central Eagles, Coach Rubino and company. We're going to talk to them in a second. The winning team here for the semifinals, they'll be playing on Saturday. Here's the schedule. Conference 2, Saturday at 10 o'clock. Mepham taking on Garden City, and then it's these Valley Stream Central Eagles taking on MacArthur. That's Saturday at 1:30. Of course, you could watch both of those games at varsitymedialive.com. And the finals will be Saturday the 23rd at 12:30. Will we see the Eagles in the finals? We'll have to wait and see. Let's show you and tell you how these Eagles got to the semifinals as we take a look at the highlights from Conference 2 quarterfinal action. And we're going to start with those MacArthur Generals. They played Friday night. Here's Ryan Isom. You thought it would be Hugh Kelleher, but no. Guys, by the way, pay attention to these highlights, all right? You got to play this team. Here's Ryan Isom, 66 yards, touchdown run. That made it 6-0 MacArthur in the first quarter. MacArthur, how about some defense? Hugh Kelleher making the stop on the defensive end, but you knew sooner or later you're going to see some highlights from Hugh Kelleher, and here he is on the 70-yard touchdown coming down. Nobody stops him on the scamper in the second quarter. Or first quarter, rather, 13-0. New Hyde Park, they tried to stay in it. They tried to hang around. Here's Michael Destin with a nice catch at around the 40-yard line. And he's taken down. But just too much Hugh Kelleher in this game. Off the left side, jumping over guys, left, right, the other way around. Nobody can stop Hugh Kelleher. 70-yard touchdown. That made it 27-0. Hugh Kelleher again. Guys, it's like a broken record. Hugh Kelleher, left, right, up the middle, over guys, sideways. And nobody can stop this guy. Number 25, the senior, might be the Thorpe Award winner in Nassau County. At least some of us think that way. And look at them. They are pumped up beyond belief. Mike Esposito coming around for a sack here defensively for MacArthur. And then let's give some love to a sophomore. We were talking about seniors, but how about this tackle by Matt Papich for MacArthur, and Joe Apuzzo with the 4-yard touchdown. That will seal the deal. The Generals, they go ahead 41-0 over New Hyde Park. Then on Saturday afternoon at Valley Stream Central, there's the Cary Seahawks. There's Mike Rubino trying to win for the first time since 1989. And Nathaniel Grimsley's like, hey, coach, give me the ball. I'm going to get things going here off the sideline for a nice run. Jason Kessler going up top. That's picked off by the Eagles. But I'll give Cary some credit here. They were able to stay within the game. Anthony DiNicola punches it in. That would tie things at 7 in the second quarter. But this was an up-and-down game. Rob Nunez, 1-yard touchdown run. Puts the ball on the ground. I like it. Give it back to the referee. And then here we go, Grimsley again, right side. And he would score the touchdown to make it 14-7. Back comes Kessler. Nice shot. End zone. Touchdown. Got blasted, but holding on was Frank Scarantino. But Nunez hooks up with Jacob Tejada for the 12-yard touchdown. Your final score, Valley Stream Central 42, Cary 14. And here they are, the Eagles of Valley Stream Central. Coach Rubino joining us alongside JJ and alongside Rob Nunez. Guys, thanks for coming on the show. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you for having us. We're happy to be here.
Well, Coach, let's talk to you first. First time since 1989, the Valley Stream Central Eagles win a playoff game. How did it happen?
A lot of hard work. Started in January. These guys were relentless in the weight room, off-season training. And, everyone's excited in the school, and we're excited for Saturday for the opportunity.
Let's talk to Rob Nunez, who started the season at linebacker, Rob, and then Coach said, look, we need you a quarterback, and the last 4 games the team has really had a big difference. Talk about you playing quarterback. What's that been like?
I just got to do what I got to do for my team. Passing, blocking, running. You got to do what you got to do to win.
But come on, you're being modest about that. Since you took over at quarterback, you beat Cary in the playoffs. You guys are undefeated. It's a different look team. What have you done to make it so successful?
You got to be physical in the trenches with the O-line and how we play. We run the ball a lot, and then we pass when we can. But we spread the ball around, and I do what I got to do when I have the ball.
Well, look, we saw those highlights. That was a nice throw to Tejada there. You got some zip on the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's modest.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring in JJ Bobrin. Let's pass the mic. You're playing MacArthur on Saturday. MacArthur, Hugh Kelleher, he could be the Thorpe Award winner. What do you guys got to do defensively to slow this guy down?
Honestly, we just got to play hard. It's going to be a windy day, cold day. Play through it all. We've been here before. Oh, yeah, so
All right. And What is it going to take for this team to win that game? 2 playoff wins in a row. Hasn't happened since 1989. We talked about it. What do you guys have to do to win?
Play hard work, dedication. We've been working since the summer. I got nothing else to say.
We're ready.
Well, you
to play.
came all the way from school down the show. You got nothing else to say.
Yeah.
Coach, talk about this team. I know you said they've been working hard. How proud are you of them for them to make it here to Hofstra?
Extremely proud. We knew this was, this was a goal of ours to get to Hofstra, and these guys get all the credit. They trained all summer long, and then we were up against it after losing to Manhasset. We made the quarterback switch to Rob, and everyone kind of pulled together. We got a win against East Meadow that we were desperate for, and that kind of got things rolling here.
Well, for those that don't know, MacArthur and Valley Central hooked up earlier in the season. It was a 27-7 loss by you guys. But now that Rob is in a quarterback, does that make you guys different? Is it a different look for MacArthur playing you guys?
It definitely changed the offense a little bit. Gives us some different things in the running game that we didn't have week 3. But they're a great team, very well coached, disciplined. So we know we have our work cut out for us. But we're confident in our guys also.
1:30 on Saturday. You're not going to want to miss this game. It's going to be a good one. We thank you for coming on the show. Good luck to you on Saturday. We'll take a timeout. Back with plenty more after this on the Varsity Media Nassau County Football Playoff Preview Show.
Set me free and give me death, there ain't no other choices. When I lay down to go to sleep, I keep on hearing voices. Little whispers in my head, man, is you fake a lawyer? Why no water, death designer, baby, pick your poison. These little demons living underneath my bed, creeping. Know the real monster lives above them all, sleeping. That subtle breathing in your closet every single evening. Thought you never see me again, looks can be deceiving. When they hear the sound of the drum, they'll be saying, oh Lord, here they come. Yeah, here we come. Here we come. Here we come. Here we come. And when you hear the sound of the drum, we'll be saying, here we come. Yeah, here we come. Hey, here we come. Here we come. Here we come. Yeah, here we come. Hey, here we come. Hey, here we come. Here we come.
Welcome back to Hofstra, Stewart Stadium behind us, 4 o'clock. We're going to have Freeport and Massapequa. We do want to tell the folks watching live, hey, it is live. Things happen. YouTube down right now. So if you're trying to watch us on YouTube.com, we will rebroadcast the show for you a little bit later today. But the good news is we're on Facebook. That's a pretty big website, right? Facebook.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah, we've heard of Facebook. And also varsitymedialive.com. So if anybody's asking you out there, how do we access the show, varsitymedialive.com. and facebook.com/varsitymedia. We continue in Conference 2 with the other semifinal matchup.
Yeah, so who will take on, who will come here to Hofstra? Their record-tying winning streak is over, but Garden City looking for their 4th county title. They take on the Jets of East Meadow. Guys, I'm all about Jeep, but this is a Ford. Ford Carney follows blockers, takes the easy pass into the end zone, 5-yard touchdown. The Trojans defense gets involved on the scoring as well. Ball's on the carpet. There goes Brandon Smith. 26-yard touchdown extends Garden City's lead to 14-0 in the first quarter. Guys, you cannot spell Garden City without using the letter D, and the defense forces yet another fumble. Trojans come up with the ball again. We talked about Ford Carney. How about a little more, right? We haven't seen enough of Ford Carney in this game. There you see the referee pointing in that direction. breaking tackles. He's breaking hearts as well, in East Meadow at least. This run, there you see him get just inside the 10-yard line. That sets up this. A jump pass by Holden Overbeck. Jack Downey comes down with it. 16-yard score. They're not done just yet. Overbeck goes over the middle. Who does he find? There's that man again. He is Ford Tough. Carney, the acceleration. 56-yard touchdown. Trojans cruise 42-14. Who will Garden City meet here at Hofstra? Well, the third-seeded Pirates want to be that team. They're taking on number 6, Manhasset, on Saturday afternoon. Billy Kender calls his own number for a big gain, and that sets up Kenny Franquise. 5-yard touchdown run. There it is. You see the hands up. Franquise, big game this day. 201 yards on the ground. He also hauled in a receiving touchdown. That leads Mepham to a 28-7 win over the Indians of Manhasset.
All right, so now we see our matchups here, Conference 2 semifinal. Let's give you some players to watch, guys, that we think you're going to want to keep an eye on here coming up on Saturday. Gavin, we'll start with you.
It's not hard. Dylan, you helped me out a little bit. What's his name? Ford Carney. I mean, that kid's incredible. Seamlessly replacing Trevor Yaboa Cody from a year ago. 530 yards, 13 touchdowns on the ground, 208 through the air. And when I watch Ford Carney, what stands out to me is his sublime vision. He finds open space, accelerates through it. They do such a good job setting up his run with some eye candy before the play. Jet sweep, fake the other way, then Ford Carney goes down the field the other way. I don't know how you stop that, especially because he's such a threat in the receiving game. They'll send him deep down the middle, up that A-gap. He's impossible to stop, extremely versatile. He's a threat.
All right, so let's go down to Dylan now. Your Conference 2 player to watch.
Well, it can't be Ford Carney, right? So it's got to be somebody else. But we'll go with a guy that we've talked about a lot. We'll talk about a lot as the week goes on as well. This is Hugh Kelleher. I mean, this guy is just a baller. He's not the first Kelleher to play at MacArthur. His brothers Jimmy and Tommy came before him. But all respect due to those guys, I think this power back is the best of the Kellehers to come through for the Generals. That's 6'2", 210. The senior hits the hole like the 5'15" train to Wanta. And there's no one defender to take him down. You thought that his junior year was impressive, right? 1,200 yards, 12 touchdowns. It was nothing compared to what he's done this year as a senior. 1,700 yards, 20 touchdowns for the undefeated Generals. In this varsity media game of the week against Cary, all he did was set a new school record, 343 yards on the ground, 4 touchdowns. Look, there's a lot of very talented players who go both ways in Nassau County. The Thorpe Award goes to the best of the best. I think you might be looking at him right here in Hugh Kelleher. What a baller he is, and he's a big reason why the Generals are not only here, but could likely as well go on to the finals. We'll get those predictions in a minute, but I might have given mine away. But Kelleher, he's a baller.
Yeah. I don't think there's any doubt that Hugh Kelleher is going to win the Thorpe, but that's a show for another day. All right, my guy to watch, he was here. I mean, he was already here on the show. How could it not be Rob Nunez for the Valley Stream Central Eagles? And here's why, folks. Look, Coach Rubino needed somebody to step up at the quarterback position, and the linebacker plays quarterback, and in 4 games, he already amasses close to 600 yards and 12 touchdowns in 4 games, folks. Not even the full season at quarterback. That's the kind of player that you're dealing with at Valley Stream Central. So I understand that Kelleher could be the Thorpe winner, but they didn't have Nunez at quarterback when they played MacArthur, and I don't know if that'll be a difference or not. Find out in a second here. Let's do our predictions. We're going to start first with the first game, Garden City and Mepham. Gavin, how do you see this game going down?
I have to play the odds. David Edinger has coached 55 games since he's been in Garden City. He's won 53 of them, Ben. I know this is a little bit of a reloaded group, but I expect them to come out there so consistent on defense from year to year. That'll carry over into the cold weather. That carries over into the playoffs. Look, this is an opponent in Mepham that has a lot of talent. The quarterback change to Billy Kender. They're a different offense than the first time they played. I think it's a really close game, but Garden City, too good, too tough. I think they pull it out.
And, Ben, this is a different Garden City team a little bit. You mentioned it earlier, right? Trevor Yaboa Cody, TYK was an all-state player. It's hard to replace a guy like that, but there's other guys as well. This has been, you can't say rebuilding at Garden City, right? But it's been a reloading year for the Trojans. So they've gotten better as the weeks have gone on. They suffered that loss, of course, to MacArthur at home. But they are, I think, this time of year when the weather gets colder, when they play here at Hofstra, they just find a way. So I think they'll find a way in this game as well. I think Garden City gets the win.
For brevity's sake, it's a clean sweep. I'm going with the Trojans as well and make it 3 in a row. Okay, for the second game, the later game Saturday, MacArthur, Valley Stream Central. What do you make of this game, Gavin?
Valley Stream Central, you noted it during the interview. Incredible story. First playoff win last week since 1989. Rob Nunez makes them a completely different team. He's been picture perfect, 5 for 5, 110 yards, a touchdown last time out. I think he's going to make it a close game. You Kelleher, though, too dominant on the ground. Expect MacArthur to really chew up clock in the second half running with him. I just don't see a way they can stop him.
Are those guys still here? Because I don't know if I want to give my prediction. But listen, they're going to make it a game. There's no doubt about it. You mentioned first time in such a long time, so they're going to soak in the atmosphere at Hofstra. But we mentioned Kelleher. He's not the only baller. How about Isom, right? Ryan Isom's a dude. He's like 5'5", 150 pounds soaking wet, but he hits the hole and he hits linebackers like he's 250 pounds. He's a difference maker. I think MacArthur, they're on a different level right now. They've got high expectations, and it's not just to win a semifinal. I think they win this game.
Yeah, I do too. Listen, MacArthur's the best team in conference too. They have been all year, and I think while Nunez will make it maybe a little closer in the first quarter, MacArthur's going to wear them down. Hugh Keller's too big, he's too strong, he's too physical, and he's too tough, and I think he will wear the Valley Stream Central defense down eventually, and I think it could be a 3-4 touchdown score game here. So we'll go with the Generals. All right, before we take a timeout, you know the top plays of the week is something that everybody looks forward to for Varsity Media on our social media. So we figured naturally we have to do the top 10 plays of the year, obviously. So let's take a look at that. Did you make one of the best plays of the year? Let's take a look at our top 10 plays of the year, the season, not just the week, but for the season here in Nassau County. Here we go. We'll start it off. Play number 10. Wow, I feel like this whole show has been a huge Kelleher, right? But you gotta show this one. Gavin, you and I did this back against the Carry in the Varsity Media Live. How good of a play is this?
You know, when we were calling it live, I was like, okay, he's just going to run out of bounds. I literally said that on the air. It does not happen. Hugh Kelleher said, make me go out. It didn't happen in that game. It hasn't happened all season. He's a beast. Thorpe Award winner. I'm going to call it right now. He deserves to be in this top 10.
Yeah, I think we're all calling him as the Thorpe Award winner. It's been the Hugh Kelleher
Not a
show.
bold prediction.
How about Rob Ventura pitching it back to Julian Palmer and then down the sideline, and then he finds Palmer with the catch in the end zone. East Rockaway, week 2 against Carr Place. What a play.
There's a lot of different parts to this, right? We've got to get the handoff right, then you got to get the pass right, and you got to make the catch. So 3 different things. What a great grab, and a little tightrope action too along the end, along the sideline to get into the end zone.
Yeah, great job, Russ Pager and the East Rockaway Rocks making it to the quarterfinals. Another Varsity Media Live game earlier in the season in October. Here's Logan Masters, evades the pressure. I don't even know how, and Jason Rabuto with the better catch.
That was not even a college throw. That's an NFL-type throw from Logan Masters. It was a horrible game for Seaford, but that was probably the play of the year for them. Spectacular. The arm strength and precision it takes to pull that off, just ridiculous.
My favorite part there is the coach. It's not good. Actually, it's
not
fine.
only
It's
was
good.
there one, there were 2 feet of bounds on that one. This might be my favorite play of the year. This is Glenn Cove with the catch. Keep an eye on number 5 for Lawrence. Aquan Walker just takes the football out of the player's hands, and that's not enough. He's going to the house for 6. Aquan Walker, a natural visitor on our plays of the week every single week. Dylan, look at this. It's thievery.
Yeah, he's like, that's my bread. I'm taking it. It's time for me to eat. And as you mentioned, look, it's not easy what he's doing here. Running on the sideline, great cut inside to the house. Touchdown for Lawrence.
That's Jamal Adams taking the ball away from Danny Dimes a week ago, Jets Giants. Play number 6, Peter Stanley. All he did all year long was make great catches for division and conference play. This ball is tipped. He's on the ground, and Gavin, the wherewithal to stay on the ground and make the reception.
It's just an incredible amount of focus, and then you have to combine that with this just unique reaction time, his ability to see the trajectory of that ball and still able to catch it before it hit the ground. Just incredible.
Great play. Conference 3, one of the players made all conference, I should say. Dan Villari, you can pick any play you want of him throwing the football this year for Plain End, but let's go with the Luke Lombardi. Big bomb, rainbow pass early in the season. Dylan, what about this?
Yeah, Villari is not just a running threat. He could sling it as well. You see that great grab by Lombardi as well for another Red Devils touchdown.
That was a rainbow drop right into the breadbasket.
What happened on that celebration, by the way?
I don't know. These guys are falling down. I don't know. We talked about this. Oceanside Farmingdale will have the game later tonight. At the end of the game, McKee thought he'd get a touchdown, but Dylan, no, he did not.
Yeah, Robinetta is the catcher on the Farmingdale baseball team. This is a great catch right here to seal the win. Week 2, Dalers rally.
And Mineta talked about it after the game. He said he anticipated that pass. He was waiting for it all game, able to jump on it in the biggest moment.
will we get a game like that today? All right, play 3 and 2 from Roosevelt Floor Park early in the season, week 2. Talik Nelson, are you kidding me with that catch? One-handed with a defender all over him. Somehow he hauls that in. That might be the catch of the year, folks. And then Ron Pickett, the head coach, says, you know what? Let's go for the win. And here's the Philly special. Drabinski falling down, ball in the air to Chris Toll in the end zone. That was the two-pointer, Dylan. That won the game for Floor Park.
Is there a better walk-off this entire season than this? You mentioned the 2-point get in the end zone after the previous catch. Ridiculous.
And how about Toll, like center field, like no one's guarding me in the end zone. All right, here we go. Play number 1, though. Charlie McKee couldn't get it done against Farmingdale. No time left on the clock. Down to Thomas Schmidt. It's good. They win against Massapequa.
Yeah, the Chiefs, who by the way, have just arrived. So I don't know if I want to say this too loud, but 2 seconds from the number 2 seed. Those were the 2 seconds where they lost it. What a great combination there for Oceanside. And those guys have been big all year. They'll likely be big again.
And that is our top 10 plays of the year. Exciting plays. Congratulations to all those guys that made it. We're going to take a timeout, back with Conference 3 and 4 right after this. Don't go anywhere here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. You are looking live at Stewart Stadium, the campus of Hofstra University. The press box is behind us. Ben Turchin, Gavin Shaw, and Dylan Butler. We're halfway home on our Nassau County football playoff preview show. Let's show you the schedule for Conference 3 semifinals. That is going to be tomorrow night. You see it on your screen right there. Southside and Wantagh at 4 o'clock tomorrow. North Shore and Plain Edge at 7:30 tomorrow night. You could watch those games live on varsitymedialive.com. And then the championships will be next Friday at 7 o'clock. Also, we'll have that game live for you on varsitymedialive.com. All right, let's talk about Southside and Wantagh and their road to get to the semifinals. We start with the Cyclones on Friday night against Mineola. There they are. They're ready to go. All excited. It was the William Pickett show in the first quarter. We've seen him do this how many times this year, guys? A 59-yard touchdown run down the sideline. He did it against Plain Edge. He's doing it against Mineola. Cyclones up 7-0 early. Guys that think he can only run the ball, not so. Here he hooks up with Brewster for a 4-yard touchdown run, makes it 14-0. Defense now, Pickett with the sack. Still 14-0. Oh, it's a fake punt. Phil Onesto with the trickeration. Matty Melkonian getting the first down for the Cyclones. And here comes Mineola, a little bit of defense of their own. Nice to see that. They are sticking with it. And then on the ensuing play, it's intercepted. TJ Mahar, number 11 for Southside, with the pick. And once again, Melkonian will get this reception from Pickett for 15 yards. He goes to the house. It made it 21-0 Southside. Mineola looking for the big play. Matt Tarantola connecting with Aiden McMahon on a 47-yard touchdown. That would make it 21-7. Mineola down by 14, but the final play, the interception by Pickett, sealing the deal. Southside wins 21-7. Now we go to maybe the best game in the quarterfinals all over Nassau County. Wantagh Roosevelt Under the lights Friday. The athletic director, Jen Keene, says, let's bring in those portable lights, and Nick Tereski responds with a 15-yard touchdown run to make it 7-0. Roosevelt answers right back. This is Cornell Henley around the left side. That would make it 7-6. Warriors. Roosevelt back. Idris Carter looking for the end zone. Isaiah Willock, 14 yards. He's got it. 13-6 rather, Roosevelt. But back comes Wantagh. Tereski again. Up the middle, touchdown. 14-13, Wantagh. We fast forward. It's going to overtime. I can't keep up with this game. 4th down, Roosevelt has to convert. They cannot. That means if Wantagh scores, game over. Thomas Van Bargen around the left side. Is he going to do it? But he jukes. He's in. Touchdown. Wantagh wins 27-21. That is your final. And you see the celebration as we see our semifinals. That's the first two. Let's catch up with the other two, Dylan.
Yeah, of course, that's led by Plain Edge, the top-seeded team, the undefeated Red Devils. They are home at their gorgeous facility in North Massapequa. They're taking on 8th-seeded Floral Park. Rob Shaver goes to his bag of tricks, but this one backfires. Drew Stabinski, we just saw him in the plays of the year. Scoop and score, 20-yard TD, puts Floral Park in front. Red Devils respond in a big way. Volari takes the handoff, cuts up the field. He's gone. Volari. Oh no. He fumbles. Chris Gentili says, I got it, no problem. He picked up the 2-yard touchdown for the tying score. Volari shows off his arm. He'll go deep to find Vinny DeMarco. 35-yard touchdown. Red Devils in control. You knew the Knights were not going to go down without a fight. Check out this TD run by Chris Naronis. 65 yards to the house. Ben, why was this one of the top plays of the year? What a great job by Naronis to get to the end zone, but the Red Devils, they will prevail. Joe Leone, a shifty 24-yard touchdown run, and Plain Edge survives and advances 56-20. We go on now. Clark, great regular season. Number 3 seed, conference. They take on 6th-seeded Island Trees.
I think this is North Shore Lynbrook, the North Shore Lynbrook Conference 3.
That's right, North Shore Lynbrook. I jumped the gun a little bit for Conference 4. No problem, though. This game, a great one as well between North Shore and Lynbrook. Look, North Shore, we saw them earlier in their year. They're a team that thought they wanted to bounce back from a year ago. They wanted to prove something this year, and they do it in a big way. Both sides of the football, we saw them earlier against Glen Cove, a win on the road. North Shore, they wanted to get back here. They've been here when they were in Conference 4, but they wanted to make a statement in Conference 3. They do so in a big way as well. All their ballers, guys from both sides of the football, just getting the job done in this one. North Shore, great pass, end zone, corner end zone, touchdown. They've got it all going against Lynbrook. 34-12, the final. North Shore with the win.
And I think somewhere after that Plain Edge game, we caught up with some of the Plain Edge Red Devils. Let's hear what they had to say about making it back here to Hofstra.
Excited. I mean, that's our goal is to make it to the Long Island Championship, and we're one step further, so I'm excited.
You know, 2 years before this, we lost twice in the playoffs as a freshman and a sophomore. You know, we didn't make it there, but we've been grateful enough to make it back the past 2 years, and I'm excited to get back there and to Stony Brook also. Well, definitely, you know, going back to Hofstra, you keep in mind the past, like that past LIC. You know, we just came short, but, you know, you keep that in the back of your mind, use it as motivation. So, you know, we're coming back, and we're going to be stronger and better this time.
Conference 3, much like 2-1, loaded with a lot of superstars all over the place. Players to watch. Gavin, talk to us about a Conference 3 player that you have your eyes on.
Yeah, you know, there are a couple over the course of these games, but Dan Volari is probably the best player on Nassau I've seen all season. The Fordham commit, he's just an incredible dual-threat quarterback. We saw it earlier in the top plays. Picture-perfect form on that deep ball, and he just puts a zip and an arc on it that you don't really see from any other QB at this level. And then in the run game, he's so dynamic. At 6'4", you don't necessarily expect that combination of size, speed, and shiftiness, but he has it. He could legitimatately play any position on the field, but he's incredibly dynamic at quarterback, as good as it gets. So he's healthy this time around. Plain Edge should win a championship.
Look at that throw. zipping it down right into the end zone. All right, Dylan, how about your Conference 3 player to watch?
Yeah, but I love it right now. Massapequa Freeport right behind us, warming up for their game. Look, I'm going to go actually to Southside with this one and their quarterback, William Pickett. We knew all about his running ability a year ago. Like Hugh Kelleher, who we spoke about earlier, he's not the first Pickett to play at Southside. His older brother, Alex, similar build to the 6'1", 230-pound senior. Johnny, his other brother, a little bit more shifty. William may be the best of both worlds. He's worked on his passing game, as we see here, over the summer. He wanted to be a more well-rounded quarterback. Well, he wants to play that in college. He's one of the best at it in Nassau County. Here you see his display, how he opens the game. That was the first play from scrimmage against Plain Edge in that game where they would go on and lose, but Pickett is a guy. We saw it last year against Roosevelt. I think he had like 56 carries in that game. He will be a dual threat guy, and he's a guy to look out for today or here at Hofstra.
Right, Friday night. I'm going to go with North Shore's quarterback. Why not? James DeSimone from North Shore had himself a game against Lynbrook, 4 touchdowns. Look at him here against Glen Cove. Look, if North Shore is going to have any chance to beat Plain Edge, they're going to have to do it in the air with DeSimone. You see his passing yards there, 722 and 14 touchdowns. He's a kid that can get it done through the air. Dylan, you talked about Southside against Plain Edge. They were not able to get it done through the air. And I think if they have any shot, it has to be by the passing game. Look at DeSimone here down the sideline connecting with Ledden. These kind of plays we've seen all year long. They were the 11 seed this year, folks. Preseason, I should say. Hard to believe. So if that's going to happen, look for James DeSimone, number 16 for North Shore. All right, time for predictions in Conference 3. We'll start with the first game, Southside and Wantagh. Gavin, what do you like there? What do you see?
I think it's going to be a great game. 27-24 the first time these two teams met up. Worth noting, Wantagh did not punt the ball, once in that game. 2 interceptions from their QB, but they were rolling whenever they were able to hold on to it. I think that's going to continue. They've won so many big games over the year under Keith Saxon. Not a lot of people remember this. They were the last team to beat Garden City before MacArthur did it this year. I like Saxon in a playoff format. I like that offense. They're rolling with that 3-headed monster at running back. I'm taking Wantagh.
I'm actually going to go the opposite this time. We're not going to have a sweep.
Oh, Dylan, you're killing me. We're together on everything.
I do like Saxon. I do like their ability in championship games or in championship settings, right, to get the job done. But I think Southside, again, they're a special team this year. I don't know if they'll eventually go on and beat Plain Edge. Plain Edge, I think, is another level in Conference 3, but I think in this one, Southside finds a way.
All right, so Dylan liking Southside. I agree with Dylan. I think Southside gets it done. They're going to beat Wantagh 2 times. All right, so you got it. Sometimes you got to be on the outside looking in.
I like it, Ben.
You are literally
you
on
did
the
it
island.
earlier.
I was before. You're on the island this time.
Awesome.
But I just think after their loss to Plain Edge, they're going to regroup. They have the focus, and I think they want another shot at Plain Edge. And they know that, listen, they're not overlooking Wantagh, but they have to get by Wantagh in order to do that. And I think they're going to find a way to get the job done. All right, so that does it for that game. Now let's preview Plain Edge North Shore, Gavin. This is the number 1 seed. A lot of people think that maybe after Freeport, this might be the best team in Nassau County. This might be a Rutgers Cup winning team, the Plain Edge Red Devils, and they get North Shore. What do you think there?
I mean, again, it's Plain Edge. They've been similarly dominant to Freeport all season long. Haven't played a game closer than 3 touchdowns. Average 42 points per game. This North Shore team is really good. I love their defensive line. Andrew Franco, Aiden Mandel. Those guys are extremely dynamic. James DeSimone, you mentioned, great season. Jack Ledden, he's the next level wide receiver. Plays like he's 3 inches, 25 pounds heavier. All that being said, Plain Edge too good offensively. I think they score over 50 points in this game. I think they win it.
Listen, on this field a year ago in the Long Island Championship, Plain Edge lost, but there were so many juniors who were returning. You had that feel like maybe next year is the year. That's this year. I think Plain Edge has unfinished business on their mind. So many of those juniors now seniors. We saw Quinlan before. We saw Valari, Lombardi. There's so many different guys. I think they get the job done here today. And we didn't make predictions for the finals, but I think they get the job done as well in the final.
And what a job Dan Agavino has done with this team. I said it before. Can you imagine this is a pre-seed 11 seed, and they make it to the semifinals, and here at Hofstra for North Shore, they've got to be really excited about the season that they've had and proud about that. But look, the fact of the matter is this is one of the best teams in Nassau County, and I'll take it a step further. This is one of the best teams on Long Island and maybe the state in Plain Edge. I think it's too much for North Shore. Plain Edge is going to win this game. It's a clean sweep there for us. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we'll wrap it up with Conference 4. Don't go anywhere. We're back right after this on the Varsity Media Nassau County Football Playoff Preview Show.
Yeah. Yeah. Set me free and give me death, there ain't no other choices. When I lay down to go to sleep, I keep on hearing voices. Little whispers in my head, man, is you fake or loyal? Why know why that death designer, baby, pick your poison. These little demons living underneath my bed, creeping. Know the real monster lives above them all, sleeping. That subtle breathing in your closet every single evening. Thought you never see me again, looks can be deceiving. When they hear the sound of the drum, they'll be saying, oh Lord, here they come. Yeah, here we come. Here we come. Here we come. Here we come. And when you hear the sound of the drum, we'll be saying, here we come. Yeah, here we come. Hey, here we come. Here we come. Here we come. Yeah, here we come. Hey, here we come. Hey, here we come. Here we come.
And welcome back to Hofstra James Stewart Stadium, the site of the Nassau County playoff semifinals today, starting with Conference 1. But as you can see, we've got a Locust Valley player here. That's because we're going to talk about Conference 4 right now. The schedule is on Saturday. Locust Valley will take on Seaford at 5 o'clock, and then it's Clark, Cold Spring Harbor, Saturday at 8:30. You could come to the games and watch or watch live at varsitymedialive.com.
Do both.
And then the finals will be 4 o'clock on the 23rd. Again, that game will be streamed live, varsitymedialive.com. All right, with us here is Carlo Paz, the do-it-all player for Locust Valley. First of all, thanks for being with us. And are you guys excited for your next game coming up?
We're totally excited. We're pumped. I think everybody's ready to go, and we're trying to do something special for the year.
Well, you guys saw Seaford earlier in the season. You didn't win. What do you have to do this time to get past what's the number 1 seed team coming into the semifinals?
Well, they're a great team. You got to give them all the credit. They got a great line, great all around the board. But I think we got to spice it up a little bit, do some extra things, and I think we can get it done.
Carl, I like the idea of spicing things up with the weather being cold, right? You got to warm up. You got to be spicy. To get here, to get to Hofstra, to get to Stewart Stadium, how much was that? It's not the ultimate goal, obviously, but how much was that a goal for you guys?
It was a goal from the beginning, straight out of August. We wanted to get here. It's where great things happen, where big things happen, but it's been hard work, and it's great for all of us.
For you, I mean, we'll show your highlights in a little bit. We've got you as one of our players. In fact, I've got you as our player to watch in Conference 4. But you've done great things all year. How special would it be, though, here at Hofstra on the turf here to have a special game?
Yeah, it mean everything for me. I mean, I've been thinking about this time for like my whole life, my whole football career. I've been coming to games when I was younger, and to see it finally unfold, it's exciting.
Carlo, you guys had a great game against East Rockaway. An adjustment in the second half for you guys. Started running outside a little bit more. I know I expect Seaford to pack the box in a little bit. How do you guys adjust to that? Do you incorporate the passing game a little bit, or do you kind of go to that option game and try and work the ball outside?
We're going to try the option out. It seemed to work last year, but we definitely have to not just stay with one thing. We got to get some passes in there, and I think we could do pretty good.
Okay. Well, since it's live, this is a live show, and we're almost at 3 o'clock, and we got to get out of here. We're going to cut the highlights. We're going to go right to the players to watch in Conference 4. Gavin, start us off. Who do you like here in the semifinals, Conference 4?
Yeah, another star running back, Lucas Abatiello. I mean, the guy is just ridiculous. 140 yards a game ago. Absolutely dynamic. And that Clark team pulled an upset the first time they played Cold Spring Harbor. Abatiello was a big part of it. 2 two-point conversions, game-winning touchdown. He had a 13-yard run on 4th and 12. Who does that with 3.5 minutes left in the game? Kid's a beast. Turns negative plays into positives all the time. I think he's the player to watch in that game.
Look at Abatiello continue to run there, over 1,000 yards. This kid was a stud all year for Clark. I know Locust Valley, Carlo, you faced him as well. Dylan, don't be a suck-up. Who are you going with for your player to watch? I can't believe it.
This guy right here. And we'll talk about him as well. Look, 6'1", 190. He's a senior that Locust Valley coach Casey Neal calls, affectionately, of course, a freak. And here's the reason why. There's nothing on the football field, lacrosse field, whatever it is, there's nothing that Paz can't do, which is why he's got college interest in both sports. Offensively, how about a 1,000-yard rusher, 12 touchdowns, while also getting a throwing for a score. Defensively, second on the Falcons with 70 tackles. How about 15 for losses? 3 sacks as well, 2 interceptions, 1 for a score. I think he might have driven the bus to a few games as well. This guy's done it all for Locust Valley.
I don't even know if he has his license yet.
Doesn't matter. He's driving it.
All right, I'm going to go to a rival, a Locust Valley rival. I'm going to go to Cold Spring Harbor for my player to watch, and that is going to be the wide receiver, the do-it-all player, Casey Reynolds for Cold Spring Harbor. What great catch hasn't this kid made? Here we go against Carl Place. That was an easy one, actually, but 19 receptions, 470. Here's a nice one, falling backwards into the end zone against East Rockaway. How about this diving catch? Gavin, you and I, we did this game. We did it with Mike Spina, but look at that diving catch
One of my favorite plays of the year.
And then here again, just showing off against Seaford with another big-time catch. I just think this guy's the #1 weapon for Cold Spring Harbor. He could do it defensively as well with an interception. That one was, I believe, against Malvern in the quarterfinals last week, and he takes this one to the house. Very elusive as a open field runner as well. So you got to keep an eye on number 4, Casey Reynolds, if you're playing Cold Spring Harbor. All right, it's prediction time. I don't know if it's safe for Carlo to be here while we do the predictions, but why not?
I don't know if it's safe for us.
Yeah, he's not gonna. He's not gonna do any predictions. But let's start with the first game. It's Locust Valley. It's Seaford. Be careful now. He's right there. Who do you like?
You know, I was leading Seaford with Carlo right next to me. I watched those highlights. He looked pretty good. Let's do it. Let's go Locust Valley. Pulling off the upset. Seaford, I don't think they're quite the same team they've been in past years. Dominated by Cold Spring Harbor. Obviously a really strong finish to the season for them. But Locust Valley, I feel like you guys are playing well. I think you figured something out in the option game, going wide. That's going to really challenge the Seaford defense. We saw Cold Spring Harbor do something similar, attacking them down the field. I think that's a possibility. I think Locust Valley can win that game.
Now, he's putting me on the spot. I was going to be the upset guy there, and Carlo, buddy, I'm sorry, man. I think it'll be a very close game. I think if he has anything to do with it, I think Locust Valley might get the W, but I'm going to actually go Seaford in this one. They've got guys that have been in this game for so many years. They've won these big games there. Hofstra's practically a home game for Seaford, playing here for so many years. I'm going to go with the Vikings.
Well, look, Carlo, you need guys like us to go against you to serve for motivation.
That's right.
You don't want us to just always pick Locust Valley. You need that bulletin board material, right? So, again, we all appreciate Locust Valley. You've had a great year. Seaford's tough. They got you the first time. And it pains me, but I have to say, I do think Seaford is going to move on and get to the finals in Conference 4. All right, our last game today, which will be the last game of the semifinals, Saturday at 8:30. And this is another rematch game, a 2-versus-3, Cold Spring Harbor and Clark. Gavin, start us off.
I like Cold Spring Harbor. I know Clark won the first matchup. That big drive, they took 11 minutes off the clock to end the game. You hear the noises. Everyone's into it. A lot of energy. I think that's going to be true in that game. Casey Reynolds, the 3 Striano brothers, so many dynamic playmakers for Cold Spring Harbor. I think they have enough talent to score more in this game and win it.
Yeah, by the way, that was Massapequa. They were pretty excited about that game as well on Saturday.
They just love Conference 4
at around 8:30. This game is going to be ridiculous. Look, I think Cold Spring Harbor this entire week, look, the motivation is about being here at Hofstra, like Carlos said, right? So that's not any doubt about it. There's extra motivation for Cold Spring Harbor. They're a team upset right now off that Clark game. Clark ran out the ball that last play. They had last series. They had like 15 plays, whatever it was. Kept getting first downs, kept getting the clock down. Cold Spring Harbor is a better team than they showed against Clark. I think Cold Spring Harbor gets a W.
And I do too. Listen, I think Cold Spring Harbor, they were the best team all year. I know they're not happy that in the seedings they lost to Seaford as the 1 seed by points because, hey, all 3 of these teams beat up on each other, right? Cold Spring Harbor got by Seaford. Seaford got by Clark. Clark got by Cold Spring Harbor. Really, the only team that didn't beat anybody, Locust Valley.
Oh, come on.
I kid.
Really,
now they really are against me. Now they really
don't.
They really don't like. Well, that's why maybe Locust Valley's going to win. You never know. That's why they play the games. I think Cold Spring Harbor wins. We talked about all the weapons they have in the Striano triplets. That's enough. They've been here before. They're the Long Island champions. I think they get it done. So Cold Spring Harbor will emerge victorious over Clark. Guys, that's about does it. I mean, we have no more games
we got a
to
game.
preview.
We got a game coming up.
We do have a game at 4 o'clock. We got to get upstairs to that press box behind us. Remember, you can watch all the games live at VarsityMediaLive.com. There is Massapequa warming up, taking on Freeport moments in an hour or so from now. Guys, great job. It was fun.
Yeah, I had a blast. You know, they're going to put a big picture of you up in the Locust Valley locker room, Ben. You're going to be like, they're going to fire them up with that.
Well, if you guys win, do I get to celebrate with you?
Of course.
All right, see you.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's nice.
Best of luck to you, Carlo. Thanks for coming on. That's Carlo Paz from Locust Valley. For Dylan and Gavin, and for the entire crew here at Varsity Media, we thank you very much for watching the playoff preview show, and we hope you tune into our live streams at VarsityMediaLive.com. Freeport.com. Remember, 4 o'clock in an hour from now, Freeport and Massapequa. Take care, everybody. Have a good day. Oh, got it done.